Good morning, members of the Facebook group Fierce Leaders. I'm coming to you live here. If it's the first time you see one of my live, just let me know that I can welcome you properly. And if it's multiple times you've seen my videos, just leave a comment that I can see who is staying around. There is a topic I want to address about emotional maturity today. And this video might be a precursor to another video that I haven't posted yet. I recorded it, but there is something first we need to dive into. So, usually, there is many people who are hiding their sadness, their emotion. When they're crying, they're hiding and locking in a room, or they're putting their hands on the face and hiding themselves to not be seen in that emotional state. And so there is a lot of reasons why it happens, but such as, for example, the shame of feeling vulnerable. If we've learned that crying is being weak and being weak is bad, then we're shamed to show that emotion, and so we're hiding it to not let other people see and take advantage of it. If, for example, we've learned that crying is being vulnerable, and we have a certain we're not accepting vulnerability overall in life in general, because we have this idea that we have to be strong, we have to be performative, we have to be efficient, we have to be the best, then that's also going to be a reason why we would hide the vulnerability, the crying, the tears. And there is also, what I realized is few times where we hide the time we would have a tear because we want to avoid other people to be in emotional distress when they see us crying. And so we take on the weight on the shoulders from people that have zero emotional maturity, that don't know how to handle high emotion, that don't know how to handle sadness and tears and grief and all this. And so we hide it because we don't want to be responsible for causing them a distress. And then I was observing it and in contemplation about that, and then I realized this is somehow all wrong. This is not how it's supposed to happen, where if we're in emotional distress, we should have the support of people who are able to buffer for a minute or to guide us to get out of the state, to process the emotion. But what happens is that, hold on with me, because my contemplation goes a lot further into that, how society functions today. I remember very clearly in 2019 about where I would lock up myself in bathrooms at work, when I was still working in the industry, in the chemical industry. I would lock up myself in a restroom and I would cry my tears out, or my eyes out, how you say it. And I would hide. I would really literally lock the main restroom door. And we have this idea, I don't think it changed much since then, we have this idea that we need to separate emotions and work, and we need to separate emotions and task. And so we create a separation where actually who we are as a human, that includes a lot of emotions, and what is very unique to human is the feeling of the emotion, the understanding of the emotion, the processing of the emotion. You may think that a dog or a cat is able to feel emotions, but it's your own interpretation, because truth is you don't know. They may display certain characteristic that leads to you to think they feel sad, they feel a certain emotion, but the fact that you put a word on a behavior is purely human. Mammals don't do that. And so we don't know if they feel the emotion. The only thing we see is we interpret a behavior as something they could feel. So this is very unique to human, how we feel things. So when we talk about work, work is an aspect of life, but is also family, is also developing social relationships, is also developing artistic, artistic skills, creativity. There is a rainbow of things that constitute life itself, and the working on the task that generates money is one aspect of it. But in a grand scheme of everything, it's just a one aspect. It's not everything. What we created is that humans, and hold on the fact that humans are unique because of the emotional state they can process and feel. We created humans that separate their human aspect based on emotion to generating cash and perform tasks and execute. And so we created separation of what humans are with what we want them to be. And so AI is just, robots are just the logic following of what we want humans to be. We want them to be robots. We want them to be super efficient, super quick, super performative. And we ask them, don't show emotions at work. It's not the right place to do that. Now, of course, if you're navigating a high emotion while you're trying to perform a task or execute something, an activity, it's not necessarily gonna work because you need to be focused. However, it's a little more complex than that. But it's not about then you shut off completely the emotion and you hide it and you put it under the rug. It's how you learn to process it as quick as possible, that it's just a moment. It's just, like I said before, a pocket of time. And then you can go back on your daily activities again. You don't let your whole day be ruined by just the 5 minutes you had a very high peak of emotion. What we've created is humans because we want them to be almost like robots that always perform, always execute what we want them to do. Then those humans are feeling high emotion and feel it's wrong to feel those emotions and hide them under the rug. And then we have any emotion that is not processed gets anchored in the body. And then we have high blood pressures, back problems. We have illness, allergies, disease develop itself in the body because the environment created that to be developed. Because the inner conflict of what a human is with what we demand it to be. And so when I was contemplating that, I realized where creating robots and AI is just actually the logic thing of what we ask human to be. A robot, but here is a catch, is a robot is not gonna get sick, is not gonna need the sleep, and so it's gonna be performative 24/7. So what are humans for? Well, humans need to maintain the robots and we still need the engineer to do the maintenance. Okay, eventually, until some people develop robots that are self-autonomous and don't need the human to do that anymore. And so then we worried about the environment, we worried about Earth, we worried that we need to save the planet, but the planet will be here way after us in a state or another. So it's just when we spend our time thinking about what we need to save outside of us, it's just a distraction that actually we are the species that I believe need to be saved first. So My contemplation went really far. You can listen to that again. The whole point was, the main point was about how you handle emotion. When you see when you see someone crying or being sad, what does that resonate in you? If you feel discomfort, that tells a lot about how you feel about feeling sad yourself. If you see someone crying and you're feeling the urge to, the worry to, oh my God, what's going on? Are you depressed? That says a lot how you perceive someone crying and sadness for yourself. If you're not able to hold the space for just a minute when someone in front of you is crying, is having some tears, that says a lot about how you're able, or your capacity to hold your own emotion for yourself. I'll dive deeper into that during the masterclass I'm preparing. As the masterclass will be just about emotion, all about handling high emotion and all the twists and little tricky things all around emotion. So be on the lookout. I'll share the video very soon. I'll share the subscription very soon. I'm gonna make it. All right. Let me know if it resonated. Let me know what you think in comments. I'm also curious to have different perspective, different point of view, so let me know. And until next time, I wish you a good day. Bye.